All right, we got the NBA tip-off show powered by WagerTalk.com. As feels like it's been a minute, but much going on in the NBA. Decent slate of games, I believe 7 in all here tonight. We're going to hear from the Contrarian Gods. We're going to talk about a couple of these featured matchups. We're going to give you a same-game parlay that continues to hit here on the show, thanks to one Andy Lang, the prop god. And, of course, we've got a total that is just absolutely over the top, out of control. And we're going to see what these guys think about it. Double R1L, Steve Merrill in the house. Andy Lang ready to roll. And gentlemen, let's start with those contrarian gods as they are, well, shall we say, interested in the Milwaukee Bucks here tonight. And who can blame them? Chris Middleton is on his way back to the floor for the Milwaukee Bucks. 8 is currently what I'm seeing here, guys, and the total is 227.5. Seeing a lot of tickets here on the Boston Celtics, who I believe still have some question marks, Merrill, as far as who might be going and who's not. But all in all, it's going to be good for the Milwaukee Bucks to finally feel like they're whole again. Do you agree with the contrarian gods here, though? Are they worth a shot getting the 8 points tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's always dicey fading the Celtics, right, who's by far the most talented team in the NBA. But then again, they live and die by the three, so it always comes down to if they're going to hit their 3-point shots. Milwaukee's an interesting team. We've talked about them a lot here on the show in recent weeks. Obviously got off to the terrible start this year. I think they dropped, 4 of their first 5 games. Overall, they started the year, I believe, 3-5 straight up. But they've gone now 7-1 since. So it does look like they've turned the corner. What you want to look for with these type of teams is some kind of momentum, some kind of buy sign. And after 7 straight wins, they did drop that game against Atlanta on Wednesday, but they're still in excellent current form. Getting a full 8 points here, definitely not a team I'm looking to fade anytime soon. This is a Class A game if Boston is healthy. I am seeing some 8.5s out there now. The line's starting to tick up, so maybe they are going to be a little healthier than expected. Totals dropped from 231 down to 227, 227.5. If this has a playoff atmosphere, Class A atmosphere, the under could be worth a look also.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't hate that idea either, though. But, Andy, what are you thinking here? It's going to be good to get Middleton back, probably on a minutes restriction. But with the way Lillard and Giannis and company have been playing, listen, they know they're defending champs. They know they got smoked by them a year ago. So why not? Maybe a little motivation here from Milwaukee to keep this thing close?
Yeah, of course there's motivation, and this is a Milwaukee team. I don't think that we have questions about their starting lineup when healthy. It's right. Can they last all season? So Giannis is healthy, Lillard is healthy, Middleton is back. So now, to me, this is a premier team, and they're showing it. I wonder if Middleton fits right back in, or if he's a little bit slow. It's not like he was lightning fast, at the end of the season, or even in the last year. I don't believe he's ever going to be even nearly close to what he was. So I'm not really sure how much it's going to help Milwaukee on the stat sheet. Maybe they just feel a little bit more comfortable. It's just a huge number, like 8.5 with Giannis on your team. I don't know. I feel like if Giannis and Lillard are healthy, why are they 8-point underdogs to just about anybody, even the Celtics? So Atlanta had their way with them. That is a big worry. I watched a lot of that game, and Atlanta got whatever they wanted with the cuts inside. So they do have some defensive liabilities. But potentially this was a little bit of a look-ahead spot going into Boston. So my favorite prop in this one, we're just going back to the oldie but goodie, Al Horford, over 1.5 made 3-pointers. This guy just gets a lot of wide-open looks. He's gone over in 9 out of the last 10 games. Joe, he's gone over in 6 straight versus Milwaukee, averaging 5.4 3-point attempts per game. If you're going to tell me that Al Horford is going to get 5.4 looks tonight, because they're mostly open looks. Like, he doesn't take contested shots. It's always like a drive and a kick to a wide open Al Horford. If he gives me 5 or 6 attempts, I would say we easily cash this one. So he's been cashing this ticket all year. I'll go back to him tonight. I'm not really sold on the Bucks offensively, I'm not sold on the Bucks defensively. I think offensively they can keep up. I would take the 8 points, but for my money, I'll be playing on Al Horford.
Looking at a little play on Al Horford here. It has not been this price range, by the way, for Boston. I think 6.5 to 12 points. It has not been good at home as a big favorite in these spots over the last couple of seasons. It feels like we got a motivated Milwaukee team as well. First of a back-to-back, I believe, for Boston here tonight. So depending on what happens here, you may want to take a look at them again tomorrow on Saturday. But the contrarian gods and catch you slipping, by the way, pointing out, guys, it is Giannis's birthday. Is it? Yeah, it is his birthday here. So interesting. What better birthday gift than to beat Boston in Boston? That is, without a doubt, well, I don't know that it's better than that, but it's an interesting flex there, catch you slipping. I'll say you that. I guess it depends on.
Yeah, but he was born in Greece. It'll be tomorrow by the time the game tips off.
Oh, that's a solid point, Merrill. I also think it all depends on who you're having birthday sex with. I think there's varying degrees at that. So, but I catch you slipping. I know exactly where you're looking here. Oh my God! Oh, it can't be. Is he? Oh, he's not. We've been looking in the back of milk cartons for S. Warrior, and I think we finally found him. Congratulations, S. Warrior. The alarm is fixed. He figured out the start time, and he is alive and well in the chat room. Good luck with him, fellas. S. Warrior, always a pleasure. And by the way, the Heat suck. And you heard me say it here first. All right, so we do have a couple other games we want to get to, including a same game parlay here that Andy continues to dominate on this show, guys. 2 in a row now, Andy, I believe, on your SGPs, and happens to be one of the featured games we're going to look at here tonight with Atlanta at home taking on the Lakers. The Lakers are hot trash, although Miami finally found a team they can beat there, S. Warrior. But the Lakers are in bad form, bad way. In the meantime, you got Atlanta, Andy, who quietly, if people have been paying attention, they got healthier. They finally are putting out the team that we thought they'd have to begin the season. And they're a different looking team right now. They're at home. This is not that big a number, but you got a nice SGP you put together in this one. Tell us about it.
Yeah, since we decided to go big on these SGPs and get some pretty big long shots, we've hit 2 in a row, so we're up 15 units if you're betting 1 unit. So we're free rolling at this point. So, yeah, let's fade this absolutely horrendous Los Angeles Lakers defense that ranks 27th in defense for the year. And I'm with you, Joe. There's something about this Atlanta Hawks team. I've actually been watching a lot of them. They're good. This is not the same Atlanta Hawks team that seems to disappoint over the last couple of years. They've got good wing players. They've got defense. This Daniels has changed them. There's something a little bit different about Trae Young. He still will throw up some hero ball shots, and it's a couple of bad shots a game, but it's not the 5, 6, or 7 bad shots per game. So I'm a believer. So let's start with Jalen Johnson at 18 plus points. I love this guy. He's gone over in 7 straight games. The first 6 games of the season, he only averaged 16.7 points. Since then, that's up to 21 points. The way he cuts to the basket is great. He is a good 3-point shooter. He's the ultimate weapon, and he's just going to be a nightmare for this Lakers team to try and defend. If we think there's going to be a lot of points, I'm going to go to Trae Young to have 12-plus assists. He's done this 12 times this season. This game probably is going to be fast-paced. And again, they have nobody on the perimeter to guard Trae Young. I think he's going to be a little bit more of a facilitator than a big point scorer, especially if he's coming off of a terrible shooting game. And then I'm going with Atlanta on the alt spread, minus 15.5. The Lakers have lost their last 2 games by 29 and 41. And 6 of their 10 losses, awful. 6 of their 10 losses this season have been by 16 or more. Here's the thing. The Hawks have yet to cover a 16-point spread this year, but they have won 5 straight, and their last 2 wins are by 12 and by 15. I think they're on the uptick. I think they dropped the hammer here. Let's fade the Lakers at a plus 800 price.
I am just loving that number. Go big or go home, Andy. That's what I'm talking about. And listen, Everybody else has been blowing out the Lakers. Why not one of the hottest teams right now in the NBA with its full complement of weapons playing tonight? I love that play there, Andy. Plus 800. If it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it. And no, it wasn't a typo, S. Warrior. It definitely said 15.5 in the alt market. So yes, he did. Actually, 15.5. Don't get it wrong there.
I'm calling my shot. This is the first game that Atlanta wins by 16 or more points. Mm-hmm. I know it sounds like a big number, but this is what same game parlays are all about. If you want a long shot, you have to put some big numbers in there. So let's go with the alt line. And keep in mind, we're fading a team that just lost by 40-plus points. This is not that big of a stretch. So, there we go.
I agree. And LeBron's still looking for his first three-pointer of the year. No, I'm kidding. Merrill, talk to me about this game here. Atlanta quietly starting to put it together, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're finally healthy here. At home, usually a place we want to back them. The number is 5.5 currently. What are you thinking about this game here tonight?
Yeah, by the way, the Lakers, for their last 5 losses, have come by more than that margin, by more than 16.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily Atlanta having to win by 60. It's also the opponent can lose by that margin, which is very likely here. Big picture, Atlanta's an interesting team to talk about. They've obviously really started to turn things around with the 5 straight wins, 4-1 against the spread during that run. And keep in mind, you think, maybe it's going to come back down to earth. But for a couple years, this was the worst point spread team in the NBA the last couple seasons combined.
Yeah.
Quinn Snyder takes over last year. They started to play better. They've been a better moneymaker. And I think we could actually ride Atlanta for quite a while. Whether it's the financial markets or the sports betting markets, when you have a run of a couple years where a team is vastly underperforming, it doesn't just correct overnight. You start to see it kind of smooth over. And I think that's where we are with the Hawks. So there's plenty of upside here. You look at those last 5 recent wins, they've all come by double digits, except for one of them. So another reason why Andy's onto something with that alt line, I think. It's the Lakers getting blown out. The Hawks are blowing teams out. So a lot of reasons to like Atlanta. And then you look at the injury report. You got LeBron questionable. Trae Young's been upgraded. So that's why one of the reasons we've seen this line go from 2.5, 3 up to 5.5, even some 6s out there. But I would agree with that move on Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree too. It'd be Atlanta or pass here. What is it, Mero? We ain't catching that falling knife. Would the Lakers provide? Would that be a falling knife? Is that?
I thought you were going to say Atlanta. I was going to say Atlanta was a falling knife for about 2 years.
Yeah,
that's where I thought you were going with that. And it bottoms. And what happens when that knife bottoms? It bounces a couple times, right? And then you got to let it cool off because it's a hot falling knife. Don't forget, it's on fire.
Good point.
And it's falling.
Yep.
And the Lakers though would be the analogy of a short-term dagger, like falling dagger. We don't try to catch those either.
I like that, Andy.
The Hawks were like a damn samurai sword falling for a couple years there.
With LeBron, like an old, rusty dagger.
Yeah.
Even like one tetanus shot wouldn't be enough. Yeah. Like you need multiple tetanus shots trying to catch that thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like the cobwebs. You got to pick the scab and let that. Never mind. Anyway, let's move on to another game if we could. Would be absolutely fantastic. And I got it. This one is an interesting game here too, with Golden State taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves here tonight, guys. Minnesota, second of a back-to-back for Golden State, I believe. They didn't have Steph last night. I believe they'll have him tonight, but Minnesota defense travels, Andy, and they've been playing some quality defense here. Just stuffed the Clippers the other night, although the Clippers were on the second of a back-to-back with no Norman Powell, your guy there. But Steph Curry go tonight, Golden State. What are you thinking about this, and who should we be looking at in the prop market?
I'm going right to Draymond Green over 5.5 assists. Yeah, he's gone over in 10 out of 11 games. He's averaging 11 potential assists per game. He's dealing with a little bit of it. Yeah, he's dealing with a little bit of an injury as well. And it just kind of screams he's a facilitator tonight, especially with Steph back. That's kind of what I've read too as well, is that Steph didn't want to play the back-to-backs, and I understand that. So it just feels like a Draymond Green for a big passing night. I'm not really sure that he's going to be a facilitator, a big point scorer tonight. Sounds like they're going to need him a little bit more on defense and a little bit more in the passing. So very fair price, but this one really jumped off the page in this game.
I like it. Looking at Draymond. How about you, Merrill? It's been a rough start so far for Minnesota here. A lot of guys pointing fingers, trying to get used to no more Karl Anthony Towns. Julius Randle will have that effect on a locker room. But what are you thinking here tonight in this spot against, that's not a great spot for the Golden State Warriors, but they didn't have Steph last night. Hopefully they'll have him back tonight.
Yeah, as of the 3:30 Eastern report, not yet submitted by Golden State. So we'll have to see. I would expect him to, trying to guess, I would expect him to be back. One thing, a couple things interesting. First of all, these guys play again on Sunday in Golden State. It's a back-to-back 2 and 3 days here in the same arena. I'd like that. A lot of times that sets up a better play in the second game, depending on how this game plays off. We can take a little bit of a zigzag contrarian approach on Sunday. So maybe if we see some kind of misleading win by one team tonight, we come back with the loser, or vice versa on the over-under. Speaking of the over-under, Golden State's been a fascinating case study this year. 7 straight overs to start the season, and they've now gone under in 8 of their last 9 since. I don't know what to make of that, other than they've been extremely streaky, good or bad, and what the difference has been offense. This team basically shot like 45% or better on all of those overs to start the season. And you look at their last 6 games, they've shot 42% or worse in 4 of those last 6, including without Steph last night against Houston. So it is hard to trust this Golden State offense right now, especially taking on, like you said, a really good Minnesota defense. Uncertainty here. We need to see the injury report. Line currently pick 'em. Total has been holding steady about 218.5, but it was as high as 222.5. So I do think we saw a little bit of sharp money on the under. I wouldn't disagree. What you might want to see here is like both teams shoot extremely well from 3 tonight, and it barely gets over. That might actually set up a nice play with the under on Sunday when they have the rematch.
Yeah, I mean, Card said that, nursing the knee, Steph Curry, Green's got a calf problem, but he didn't consider either to be serious. Looks like it was just maybe an off night. What the hell's the difference? If you don't have to have Draymond or Steph in the lineup and you can still beat a team like the Houston Rockets, I think Golden State's in pretty good shape here tonight, but we'll wait till we get confirmation. 10 o'clock Eastern time tip there with Golden State and Minnesota. Don't forget, big shout out again, Big Daddy Titan CT, Eric D in the house, Have Cash, the crew in the house there in the chat room. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up for us, as well as hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done so already, become part of the WagerTalk TV family. And we still have best bets coming up here. We're going to talk about, not to mention, a total in our overtime segment. And let's be realistic. This is just, I want to say it's shocking, but Andy, if we're being honest, it's not really shocking that we're looking at a 248-point total right now, because it involves, well, 2 teams that are guaranteed to run a lot but not play a lot of defense, with the Indiana Pacers taking on the Chicago Bulls. I think this was a 245 at open, 245.5. So there's been nothing but over money. And it makes sense, Andy, obviously. But again, if we've said it once, we've said it a million times, a lot of things have to go right for you to get, and there has to be shots falling. There has to be very little defense, very little everything to get to 250. But if it does go there, like, who are we playing in this game? There's got to be props all over the place, no?
Well, yeah. If it gets to this one, it's overs galore, or you have a bad shooting night, then it's unders galore, and everybody gets smoked. I'm going to settle on Vucevic over 1.5 made threes. You'll hear me mention this number a lot with props. I love playing these guys over 1.5 made threes. He's gone over 70% of the games this season. The last 9 games, he's averaging 6 3-point attempts per game. And Joe, he is shooting 46.7% from threes this season. That is by far the best season he has had from 3-point percentage. He's had a couple seasons when he was at Orlando where he was attempting more, but he certainly wasn't making these. This is a big enough sample size. We're deep enough into the season. No, this isn't some kind of a fluke. So this is a play that I would look to. The Pacers stats say that they're pretty good against centers. I don't know. Vucevic just seems to be invigorated this year. He's putting up a lot of numbers. And even if let's say this game only makes it to 240, Yeah, I think he's going to get plenty of opportunities to shoot. So, yeah, you're looking at overs, but I narrowed it down to Vucevic over his threes.
I gotta love that too as well. But Merrill, I mean, what do you do here? 248. So you gotta legit be confident thinking this is going to be in the 130s. One team is getting into 130s, right? Somewhere along those lines. And the question is, how much do you feel that is going to go right? How little defense are we going to be getting here? And maybe you just cut it in half and maybe look at the first half if you think it's going to be an all-out track meet. Because anything, if it's a blowout, what are we getting in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, this pace, obviously, Chicago, the fastest team in the league. Indiana's only 8th. And the Pacers, I believe, are only like 20th offensive efficiency. But these are still like 2 of the bottom 6 defensive efficiency teams. So it really is going to come down if they play any defense or not. Chicago is the walking wounded. They've got 9 different guys on the injury report tonight. Half of them are questionable or probable, but still 9 different guys are somewhat injured. That concerns you. You know, I still think guys can score in their sleep. Maybe that shows more on the defensive side, but you do worry if they're banged up, maybe they don't play as fast here. And like you said, Joe, a lot has to go right. This line's gone from 245.5 up to 247.5, even a 248.5 in Vegas at Circa and Superbook. They're about a point higher than the offshores right now. It's over a pass for me, but I'll be staying off this total. I do think it's priced a little bit past perfection at this point. Hard to make a case for the under other than that this line has maybe gotten too high.
It certainly has. I mean, the Bulls on the second of a back-to-back, they can't guard the perimeter. So if anybody can shoot threes on the outside for Indiana, they could be poised to have a monster night. Titan CT going under or pass for him. Pacers, agree with all of that there. Eric D is cheering for bricklayers tonight in that game. Looking to build a nice house out in the court there. Can't with an under. I don't blame you there. That's it, Eric D. Good to see you here, brother. And there you go. So we've got most of these games covered. I promised Dan we would not talk about the Sixers in any way, shape, or form, but we'll eventually get to that game in a minute. In the meantime, I do want to let you guys know, of course, the opportunity to hop on board with R1L, Steve Merrill, or Andy Lang, available to you guys right now, the month of December. What a deal. All access, guys, for the rest of the year, $199. That includes every dart tournament, every horseshoe tournament. If there is a niche sport and Andy has an angle and an edge on it, you're bound to cash a ticket. And they do pay, Andy, I believe. The money is still green. It's not any sort of discounted currency. So it really doesn't make a damn bit of difference what the sport is. A win is a win. The ticket cashes, it cashes. And for $199 right now across the board, all access to everything going on in the world of sports kind of feels like a no-brainer for you, man. What do you got over at WagerTalk right now?
2 big plays are up. We start tonight in college football. We got our 4% college football best bet, 23-8 lifetime in college football, 10-4 this season. It's been a cash cow. Go grab that. And then we have our 5% UFC play. UFC 310 is tomorrow. And this is a play we've been sitting on for a couple weeks. So we're happy to release it on Monday. The lines are still holding strong. We're 41-22 in UFC. We swept PFL last weekend. We're having a really great UFC year and just absolutely love this play. So 4% play up tonight, 5% play tomorrow. So a lot of units out there to be made tonight and tomorrow.
All right, I love it. So now you gave us the same game parlay. You're already back-to-back wins on that here on the show. How about a best bet for tonight? What are you looking at?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I got a few fun ones, and I'll close out with with the best one. What about Chris Middleton to not have a steal? Minutes restriction. I'm not sure he's that fast right now. You think he's going to be jumping in the lane, stealing the ball? I don't know. That one jumped out to me. Dalton Connect under 2.5 made threes. He's 1 for 12 from 3-pointers the last 3 games. Maybe that's why they're losing by 40. Tristan Da Silva over 4.5 points, gone over in 16 out of 19 games, and he plays the vaunted defense of the Philadelphia 76ers. But for the best bet, we're going to go to Julian. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Champagne. I'm going to go over 5.5 rebounds plus assists. He's gone over in 17 out of 22 games this season. He's playing a ton of minutes, 28 minutes without Wemby in the lineup. He's averaging 7.3 rebound chances and 2.7 potential assists this season. Without Wemby in the lineup, there are a lot of stats that are out there, and he's been a really nice player for them. His minutes and his stats are very consistent. I'll take him to go over that total tonight.
I love it. All right, couple different ways to approach the card here tonight with Andy. Double R1L, Steve Merrill. Whether it's bowl season, and they do have a great bowl package too right now, 149. But with all the sports going on right now, that 199 all access deal just feels like that is the way to go. What do you have locked and loaded for the clients here, Merrill, heading into this weekend? And drop us a best bet here.
Yeah, the rest of December, the rest of this year for $199, all sports. That's college football, pro football, college basketball, pro basketball, all four sports I do. That works out to about $7.50 a day. That's less than $2 a day for each sport. And the sooner you get on board, the more days you get for free in that package because it's a flat rate, no promo code needed. $199. I do have a strong NBA best bet for tonight on Friday. 2 advanced college football plays for tomorrow are posted already for Saturday. So go get that $199 package. And while you're there, check out a free play in college hoops tonight, a nice little extra game free play in college basketball for everybody with analysis. And also you'll see a link to my college football top 25 video, which breaks down 5 of the 9 games tonight and tomorrow in college football. There's only 9 games, but 5 of the 9 were top 25 matchups. So it's an extremely deep dive into the college football card. And check out all the videos here on WagerTalk TV by clicking subscribe and clicking the bell for instant alerts. Comment below and hit that thumbs up like. Greatly appreciated. All right, free NBA play. By the way, that NBA best bet tonight was not a game we talked about here on the show, so go get that as well. I really like this game tonight. We didn't even talk about it here. One game we did talk about, but I want to circle back to for the free play for the show is the Atlanta Hawks minus the 5.5. You know, the Lakers right now are the 4th worst defensive team efficiency-wise in the entire NBA, and things can get ugly on the road when you're a bad defensive team. Also, when you're banged up, LeBron questionable tonight, and when you kind of mail in road games to start with. I mean, we look at the Lakers this year on the road; they're 5-7. Versus 7-3 straight up at home. And the Atlanta Hawks are in excellent current form. They're really playing as well as anybody in the league right now. They've won 5 straight. They've gone 4-1 against the spread in those last 5, and all 4 wins have been by double-digit margins. Lakers, meanwhile, 4 of their last 5 losses have been by double digits. And when you're a bad defensive team banged up on the road, the wheels can come off fast. And keep in mind, the Hawks were the worst point spread team in the NBA the last couple of seasons. So there's plenty of upside. You have not missed the run here at 4-1 ATS. I think they continue to be a play-on team for most of this season, and we'll take a fairly short price tonight with Atlanta minus 5.5 at 7:40 Eastern.
Yeah, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's broke in LA, and the effort has just not been there. I don't see it continuing to be there tonight against an upstart here Atlanta team that's starting to feel it. Let me just save everyone the heartache here. Dan will not be backing the 76ers tonight, he's telling me. So there will be no such Sixer play for Dan tonight. There might be, I don't know, an underplay somewhere in there, but Orlando in a second of a back-to-back against the Sixers. Sorry, Dan. But you do have the Eagles. I'll say that. You always have the Eagles, who I believe have more home wins than the Sixers do. But that's good. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good point. It's an overhaul. Yeah, that's your road wins, pretty much also. Everything. Touchdowns, yes, they have more points. They've got just about everything better than the Sixers. Hell, the Phillies haven't even started yet, and already I think they have more wins at home than anything that the Sixers are doing. They might very well here. All right, so we're getting all sorts of, Andy, see what you started here. Earn 10X has Atlanta minus 15.5 at plus 350 in the alt mark by itself. And I believe now Eric D says, screw it, minus 20.5 for Atlanta. He's going big haul, go big or go home. And this is your alt market. Woo, Eric. God damn.
But by the way, can I explain how same game parlay works? I know a lot of people in the chat were like, I'm not laying minus 15.5. It's not even money. It's 8. It's an 8-1. You have to take.
You only have to be right 1 out of 9 times to break even.
That's it. Yep,
Yeah.
it's so true.
I'm not saying that that's the spread and you should take it. I'm saying you got to go out on a limb to make this same game parlay work. So I understand that it's a big number, but that's what we have to do to get this to work. I'm not saying just take it on its own. Oh, my goodness.
Malik Monk over 16.5 points there. Why not? He's averaging over, 32 minutes a game now. Anybody know if Wembanyama was cleared? Is he going in that game tonight with San Antonio, Merrill? Did we see anything for him? I know he wasn't in. Is he in there or no?
I saw him at doubtful at 3:30. 30 minutes ago, he was doubtful. So that would
he's
be
still doubtful.
Less likely that he's going, I would say.
Yeah, because he didn't go last night in that Chicago game.
Yeah, I mean, Sacramento's a 6.5-point road favorite in that game, too, and there was initially 3. So the betting markets do not expect him to be there, and the injury report says 25% chance he will be.
And there you go. So that would explain what we got going on there. Still a ton of injuries also there. I believe Trey Jones out also here. So not great physically wise what's going on there for San Antonio. But plenty of good NBA games still on the card here tonight, except for the Sixers. That's not a good game. But we've got plenty of great plays. Best bets locked loaded over at WagerTalk.com. Absolutely no reason not to make it a profitable start to the weekend here, guys. Visit Andy Lang, visit R1L, Steve Merrill over at their page at WagerTalk.com. And then get ready. Join us Saturdays and Sundays. If you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe button. Last call. Back at it tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time, as we're going to get all the last-minute steam moves, everything you need to know just before we get championship week in college football kicked off. Plenty of great college hoops tomorrow as well. So join us for last call, 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, as we get you caught up with a live look from our good friend Art the Caesar at the Westgate. VR, Gianni the Greek will stop by. Teddy Covers will be there. We got a little something for everyone on last call. All the knowledge you need in order to make it a very profitable weekend ahead. So R1L, Merrill, we appreciate it. Andy Lang, let's cash that minus 15.5 at even. Oh, no, that's right. It's not even money. Never mind. Just get that same game parlay. Guys, good to see you. S. Warrior back in the house. Don't be a stranger. Titan CT, Big Daddy. Come back and join us again tomorrow for last call. In the meantime, guys, best of luck with the plays tonight. We'll see you again soon.